In a forgotten hall where time had no clock and history had no borders, there stood a corridor lined with glowing frames. Each frame flickered like a living thumbnail, a moment distilled, a soul captured, a decision frozen in fire. A young girl wandered into the hall. The first frame burst alive. A man in worn, homespun cloth stood before an empire, holding nothing but conviction, salt in his hand, defiance in his eyes. The plaque shimmered, Mahatma Gandhi, a frail figure walking into a storm of soldiers and winning without lifting a weapon. The next frame cracked with lightning. A woman stood in chains, chin lifted toward a sky that would soon swallow her. Flames curled upward, but fear never touched her face. The name burned bright, Joan of Arc, a teenage girl hearing heaven louder than an army. Further down, a scientist scribbled in a notebook while the world dismissed him as strange. Equations swirled like galaxies around his head. The frame pulsed, Albert Einstein. A mind bending time while humanity still argued about it. Another frame roared like a battlefield drum. A general on horseback surveyed destiny. The air itself felt conquered. The inscription carved deep, Napoleon Bonaparte. A man who believed Europe could fit inside his ambition. The girl moved on. A tall, quiet figure signed a document beneath flickering candlelight. Outside, a fractured nation waited. The frame whispered, Abraham Lincoln, a pen stronger than a civil war. Then came a thunderous voice shaking stadium walls. A minister stood at a podium, eyes blazing with a dream that refused to die. The frame glowed, Martin Luther King Jr., a speech that turned pain into prophecy. The hall dimmed, and then a different kind of light filled it. A simple wooden cross stood against a darkened sky, crown of thorns, nails, blood and forgiveness in the same breath. Jesus Christ, a sacrifice that split history in two. The air felt heavier, not with fear but with gravity. Empires had risen and fallen in other frames. Armies had marched, speeches had echoed. Ideas had revolutionized the world. He changed the world with love and compassion, but this frame whispered something different. Love your enemies. Forgive them. It is finished. The girl felt the corridor tremble, not from conquest but from redemption. She continued walking. A darker frame flickered with menace. A dictator stood before roaring crowds, rage weaponized into obedience. The name chilled the air. Adolf Hitler, charisma without conscience. Further still, another frame shimmered with defiance. A man turned his telescope toward the heavens and refused to look away. The plaque read, Galileo Galilei, a whisper to the stars that shook authority. At the end of the corridor, one final frame waited, empty. No name, no face, just a mirror. The girl stepped closer. The glass shimmered, and beneath her reflection appeared a single line. History is not finished. Behind her glowed conquerors, peacemakers, tyrants, prophets, scientists, dreamers. Every thumbnail had once been a human being standing at a crossroads. And the next frame was waiting,